Give it up for your first comedian, it's Clint Naramore!
All right, how are we doing tonight, Rapid City? So I drove into town today and saw an interesting sign along 90. It was an advertisement for something called McNasty. And I thought, awesome, the McRib is back. And trust me, don't get me wrong, I love McRibs, they just don't like me. It's an abusive relationship. Although last time I was coming to Rapid City, it was McRib season, and I had the dog in the back seat. He was sleeping, and I ate a couple of McRibs because it was a long drive. And I got a little gassy, as one does, and popped one off, and it smelled so much like a McRib. I woke a sleeping dog from the back seat. Although when he got to the front seat, all he found was a sad box of McLies. So I didn't go to McNasty, didn't stop to see what it was. I did stop at Waldrug, though. Now that is an interesting place because I've never seen one location where you can buy a bolo tie, an Indiana Jones whip, slippers, personalized license plate, and suppositories. And don't forget about the 5-cent coffee, just in case the suppositories don't work. So I mentioned my dog. He just turned 3, 2 weeks ago, just turned 3. And I got him from the Humane Society where I lived when he was 10 months old, so a couple years ago. And I learned something. You have to be very careful when you're naming your dog because you don't want to be that guy that names the dog something that when you scream it from your back porch at night, you have to have an unpleasant and awkward conversation with the neighbors the next day. So I went with a name that was near and dear to my heart, and I named him Chainsaw. You laugh, but you get a lot of interesting reactions with a dog named Chainsaw. Because if you came up to me and you just overheard me say, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to get home and lay down in the bed and snuggle with my chainsaw." Out of context, you might think that I'm psychotic or severely mentally ill. In either case, you'd be right. Chainsaw is not an only child. He has a sister, a cat sister, who I found in a parking lot and rescued her about 6 years ago. Her name is Artie. And I was hoping they would get along, but now I'm convinced they're plotting against me. They've had meetings. Artie will grab Chainsaw and go, "Hey, the stupid one's home today. Let's screw with him." And then she will knock down either her treats or his treats, knowing that either it's going to open and they're going to share or he's going to finish opening it. And Papa is going to come along and say, "I'm not rewarding bad behavior, but here's a treat," and I go play. So they get me every time with that, and I mean every time. Thanksgiving's coming up. Anybody excited about visiting family or having family visit? No. Me neither. I stopped going back home to Cleveland for holidays because I didn't want to get called back a month later and have to turn state witness. Because apparently my family, we only get together for funerals and parole hearings. And everything is usually caused by one of two of my uncles. And the younger one, my Uncle Gary, he's got the bragging rights right now because a while ago he did star in a reality show. I guess that was cool. And he's proud of it. He still flexes on it. He'll show people on YouTube. And we all felt something back in December of '93 because I promise, you haven't lived until you've been flipping channels and seen a blood relative on Cops. Yeah. Spoiler alert, he's not a police officer. The worst part about the whole situation was he didn't have to introduce himself to the cop. And you can hear on video, I have this on YouTube at home for when I'm feeling sad about my life. The cop says, "Hey, where did Naramore go?" Now, my last name is not easy to pronounce. Trust me, I have bill collectors the extended warranty guy, the people that want me to donate, they call and mess up my last name every week. It rolled right off that cop's tongue. He's had practice saying it. So, yeah, I just don't go home for holidays unless I need, again, to feel better about my own life. I grew up in your typical, everyday, all-American broken home. You know, my parents were divorced so many times, I used to get Christmas cards as a child from U-Haul. I wish I was kidding. Lived with Mom for a while, then with Dad, and they had different ways of disciplining. Mom would make me go and stand in timeout. Dad would wait for whatever game he was watching to go to a TV timeout, and then he'd beat my ass. Until I was 10 years old, I thought the 2-minute warning was an indicator of how long I had to get out of the room. But my parents are gone now, and, you know, it's, again, I just don't deal with stupidity. And my aunt says, you know, you really should come home and see the family more. And I said, no, I really don't want to. She goes, you're not being responsible. And I said, you're telling me about responsibility? The only woman I've ever met with a court-mandated hysterectomy. You knew something was wrong when Child Services was in the delivery room on her 9th childbirth? I think she just saved time and just named the kid Ward. Some of you will get that later. So, you know, I'm just gonna stay home and do what I normally do, watch football. Thank God the Browns aren't playing because I don't need another reason to be depressed. And enjoy myself. And, you know, the funniest thing about the holidays I've learned is growing up in Cleveland, where, you know, all of your hopes and dreams die on the first Sunday in September every year, no matter how many dozens and dozens and dozens of quarterbacks. But everyone asked me when I was getting ready to enlist, Clint, why are you going to enroll? I need to get away from these guys. If you met my family, I promise, you would volunteer to jump in front of a bullet too. And seeing my uncle with his beer belly hanging out on cops with I don't know why he purposely pulled the tank top over his beer gut. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the real Nick Nasty. Thank you so much.